Netflix knows what you'll watch tonight before you've decided. Not because it reads your mind, because it's watched 260 million people make the exact same decision you're about to make. And it has been taking detailed notes on all of them for years. The Netflix homepage looks personal. It has your name on it. The rows feel handpicked. But the algorithm behind it is one of the most sophisticated behavioral prediction systems ever built. And everything it shows you is a calculated bet on what will keep you watching longest. This video is about how that system actually works, what it knows about you, and what you actually are to Netflix. Open Netflix right now, and your homepage is completely different from everyone else's. Not just which shows are highlighted, but the order of every row, which thumbnail version of each show you see, how many rows appear before you have scroll, and which titles appear at all. Two people in the same household on different profiles see what feels like a completely different product. The same service, delivering a personalized experience to each of its 260 million subscribers simultaneously, in real time. What makes this possible isn't magic. It's a set of machine learning models that have been watching how you watch for as long as you've had an account. Netflix runs over 1,300 distinct recommendation models simultaneously. Each one is optimized for a different signal. What you'll start next, what you'll finish, what you'll rewatch, what you might want in a different mood, what someone with your behavioral profile watches that you haven't discovered yet. These models don't just use your watch history. They use how long you hovered over a title before deciding not to click. How far into a series you got before you stopped. Whether you returned the next day. Whether you watched at 8 p.m. on a Friday or 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. Every interaction is a data point. Every data point feeds the models. The core mechanism underneath most of this is collaborative filtering. Netflix doesn't just look at what you watched. It finds users whose entire watch history most closely matches yours and uses what they watch next as a prediction for what you'll want. If 80,000 people who watch Stranger Things, Dark, and Black Mirror all went on to watch a specific thriller within 2 weeks of launch, Netflix will push that thriller to you the moment you finish Black Mirror. You don't need to have heard of it. You don't need to search for it. Your taste cluster already found it, and their behavior becomes your recommendation. This is why Netflix's suggestions sometimes feel like they're reading your mind. They're not reading yours. They're reading 260 million other people's behavior, looking for the pattern that matches you. Netflix has mapped all of its subscribers into roughly 1,300 distinct taste clusters, groups of people who respond similarly to content. You don't know which cluster you're in. Netflix doesn't tell you. Your cluster isn't just based on genre preferences. It's based on the combination of what you watch, when you watch it, how far you get through it, whether you come back, and whether you rewatch. Two people who both love crime dramas can be in completely different clusters, because one finishes every episode immediately, and the other samples the first episode and abandons most series. Completion rate, not just genre taste, is what defines your cluster. And your cluster predicts your next choice better than your own watch history does. Netflix doesn't show you the same thumbnail for a show that everyone else sees. At any given moment, there are over 250 active A/B experiments running across the platform. Each one is testing different artwork, different crop, different featured character, different emotional tone, different color palette. The thumbnail you see for a title was assigned to you based on what your watch history suggests you respond to. If you predominantly watch action films, you'll see the action scene. If you watch character dramas, you'll see the emotional close-up. If your history shows you respond to female leads, the algorithm surfaces those storylines over ensemble shots. You're never shown the show itself. You're shown the version of the show that your behavioral profile is most likely to click. Netflix found that showing users the right thumbnail increases click-through by up to 30%. Across 260 million subscribers, a 30% lift in clicks on every title is worth hundreds of millions of dollars annually in reduced churn. A subscriber who clicks on things they enjoy and finishes them stays subscribed. A subscriber who scrolls endlessly and rarely commits to anything cancels within a few months. The thumbnail test isn't about aesthetics, it's a retention mechanism. Netflix tests new artwork weekly for every major title. The winning variant varies significantly by country, age group, and watch history. The version you see has been optimized specifically for someone who watches the way you watch. Netflix tracks the exact second you stop watching a show and never come back. They call it the abandon point. If a large number of users abandon a specific episode at the same timestamp, say 22 minutes in, that flags a specific scene or story beat as a problem. This data feeds directly into content decisions. Shows where a high proportion of viewers abandon in the first 2 episodes are canceled faster, regardless of total viewer numbers. Shows where viewers who start episode 1 consistently complete the season are renewed almost automatically. The algorithm doesn't care if 10 million people started your show. It cares how many of them made it to the end. That number determines whether the show gets another season. This data also shapes what Netflix decides to produce in the first place. Before a show goes into production, Netflix already knows which talent combinations, narrative structures, and genre hybrids its subscribers respond to across every regional market. It knows that subscribers who watch crime dramas in Germany average 1.7 more episodes per session than subscribers in the UK. It knows that supernatural romance outperforms period drama in Southeast Asia. These patterns inform not just which shows get greenlit, but how they're framed, which markets they're targeted toward, what the title should feel like, and which plot elements historically drive completion rate. Netflix doesn't just recommend content. It reverse engineers content from the data and then funds its production. Every new show on Netflix has a 2-week window. If it doesn't generate significant engagement in the first 14 days, measured by who starts it, how far they get, and how many return for the next episode, Netflix stops actively recommending it. The algorithm redistributes its real estate to titles already generating strong signals. A show with brilliant reviews but slow word-of-mouth uptake can effectively disappear from the platform within 2 weeks of launch. Not deleted, just no longer surfaced. Good reviews don't move the algorithm. Completion rates do. This is why a show can be critically acclaimed and simultaneously invisible. It won the press cycle, but lost the data cycle. This changes what Netflix actually is. On the surface, it looks like a creative studio. It commissions shows, develops talent, tells stories. But the underlying machine is a behavioral prediction engine that uses creative content as the raw material for generating engagement data, which it feeds back into decisions about what content to produce next. The shows are the instrument. The measurement is the product. Subscribers are both the audience and the dataset. Netflix doesn't make television for you. It makes television that, when processed through its measurement infrastructure, generates signals about how to make more television that generates better signals. When you finish an episode and the next one starts automatically in 5 seconds, that timer was not chosen by a designer. It was tested. Netflix ran A/B experiments with different autoplay delays. 3 seconds, 5, 8, 10, 15. 5 seconds was the number that maximized continued viewing without generating subscriber complaints. At 3 seconds, people felt rushed. At 8 seconds, enough people picked up their phones that the session ended. 5 seconds is short enough that reaching for the remote requires more deliberate effort than just continuing to watch. The next episode starting is not a default you tolerate. It's an engineered friction reduction designed to make the moment of stopping feel harder than the moment of going on. Netflix doesn't show you what you want. It shows you what 1,300 models, trained on 260 million subscribers, predict will keep you watching for the next 90 minutes. The thumbnail that made you click was selected for your behavioral profile. The autoplay that carried you into another episode was timed to minimize your exit window. The show itself was greenlit because the data said people like you finish shows like that. You made a choice. But the set of options, the way they were framed, and the path of least resistance were all decided in advance by a machine that has been studying how you watch since the first time you press play.